Good morning, Illini. Welcome back to Healthy Illini Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Schrock, and we're glad you're with us. If this is your first time with the program, welcome. We're glad you're here. Be sure to check out our archive and see the episodes that we've had up to this date. If you've been with us throughout the journey, appreciate you as well. It's been a lot of fun talking about a lot of topics over a wide range of health and wellness. And today we're continuing on in a kind of semi-series. It's a series, but it's not a scheduled series of health careers here at McKinley Health Center at the University of Illinois, and we're going through a number of different positions to talk about what the position is and what kind of schooling is like to get there, and then the personalities that we have here in the building. So I'm excited to have another chapter in that today. I'm joined by two of our providers here at McKinley Health Center, and they're both repeat guests here. If you go back to our early episodes in the first year, we were putting out programs back in 21, 22, fall 21, spring 22. We had them on, but first up we have Rex Clark. He is our physical therapist here at McKinley Health Center. Rex, thanks for joining us again.
Sure, glad to be here.
He was on an episode back, we talked about back health, I believe it was,
yes.
and posture. Back in the day. And then also joined by our athletic trainer here at McKinley, Michelle Hazelhorst. Michelle, thanks for being back.
Good to be here.
And I believe you were in a running episode we talked at that time. So you can check those out in the archive and see those. I really encourage that. But today, we're talking specifically about what you both do and your positions here at McKinley and what it takes to have a career in your positions. And so, we have a physical therapist, we have an athletic trainer, and those terms are very well known. If I say physical therapist, people go, oh yeah, sure. Athletic trainer, oh yeah, sure. What do they do? People will pause because they know the terms, but they don't necessarily know what you do specifically. So just to start off, would you give us an overview of what you do in your position as providers? And then we'll kind of get to the similarities and the differences between both of you as well. But whoever wants to jump in, we'll start off with what you do.
Apparently I am starting off. So an athletic trainer is a healthcare professional. We tend to focus more on primary care, first aid in some settings. We're the professionals on the sidelines at games who jump in when an athlete may get injured. That's just one setting of many that we can work in. We also focus on injury prevention, wellness promotion, treatment of injuries, and rehabilitation.
And Rex?
Basically, I try to help people get better. They come in with pain or problems with their function or whatever, and at least here at McKinley, both Michelle and I have worked on musculoskeletal problems. People come in with overuse injuries or whatever, and we just try to make them feel better. Now, outside of McKinley, PTs will work in many different areas, which maybe we can get to later, but anywhere from neurological problems to work comp to people who've had surgeries or trauma. We help them get more functional as well.
Yeah, so I do want to talk about kind of as best we can, the wide variety of opportunities for both of these types of positions. But specifically, we'll get to that. But right now, we're talking specifically in a college health center setting to start off with. And you talked about treating injuries and things like that. So there's a similarity here that you both work on rehab, both help people who have been injured in various ways. And I think it was Rex put in your prep work, you had the term musculoskeletal is something that you both are really focused on that. But how do your positions differ? I mean, do you see the exact same type of cases, or is it something that somebody comes in, they're like, oh, you definitely need to go to AT versus PT or vice versa? How do your positions and what you treat differ from each other?
My focus is primarily on sports or exercise-related injuries. If somebody gets injured playing an intramural sport or even just lifting at the gym one day, those would come to me.
And I'll see those similar type of situations. Most of those go first to Michelle, but if she's busy or the doctor will send some to me, I'll see those as well. But I also see people who've slipped and fell on the ice, or more than I like to see, but people who have neck and back pain from sitting, studying in silly positions using a laptop. Also can see people with who've had fractures or surgeries, but usually, since we're limited here, we don't see as many of those. We'll tend to see them down the road a little bit.
And that's where it comes into the things that an AT or PT might see outside of what McKinley does. Right. But for what we do here, because we are ambulatory care, we're primary care kind of thing, you see mostly those type of instances. One thing I really wanted to ask you about and kind of highlight that you both do that most people probably don't think of. When you think of athletic training, when you think of physical therapy, almost exclusively, and I say that carefully, but almost exclusively, I believe people would go to rehab. But you also work in preventative, preventing injury, care and things like that. How do you do that here? How does that function? As far as I know, a lot of what you do is on the rehab side, but where does preventative care fit into what you're doing?
Well, I have a picture in my office that has a shrimp sitting at a desk in front of the computer. People see that and they laugh. But it's so true. You see so many shrimp out on campus studying on their laptops. And I got that picture up there to hopefully burn a memory that they shouldn't be a shrimp when they're studying on their laptops like that. So that's certainly one thing. Some people have been hurt in the past and doing whatever thing, and they want to stop hurting, and they want to learn how to function better with less pain. So that's another broad area that we'll see.
Even when going through an evaluation for a particular injury, if I find that somebody is particularly weak or there's some muscular imbalances, I like to try to focus on those as a secondary type of training, just to try to prevent some future issues.
And that's important too, because we have an active campus. We have people that are active both athletically, but a lot of walking on campus, like Rex said, a lot of sitting and studying and things like that. So you're putting your body through a lot of stress being a college student. So that preventative education is really helpful when we have a campus of almost 50,000 on campus, and there's two of you. Preventative helps so that so you can keep people from having to come see you and things like that.
One thing sometimes I'll tell people is that hopefully I don't have to see you again, because it gives me pleasure in my job to see people get better, but not have to come back and just rely on me or become dependent upon me in the future. At
the end of the day, you're trying to get them healthier, not come back and see you constantly.
Not that we don't like them, but
right. It's that balance. It's that balance. So we've talked a lot about what you do here in the building, but I want to talk about physical therapy and athletic training as a career in general, because there's a whole lot more out there than opportunity out there than just working in a college health center. There's a lot of different things. So let's start off with education. What is the education model for both of your positions? What does it require to be able to do what you do?
So I graduated from a 3-year program as an undergrad. I believe there's also an entry-level master's program that students can go through depending on the school that they attend. So yeah, either a 3-year undergrad program, 2-year graduate program in athletic training as the focus. And then there are a variety of settings that as an athletic training student you can take advantage of working in, just to try out different settings, see what you enjoy, see what doesn't necessarily fit into what you enjoy.
I had a non-traditional route to becoming a PT. I grew up on a farm, so I came here to the University of Illinois and actually studied agriculture and became a banker, agricultural banker for 3 years, and then became a commercial banker for 5 years. And in that process, I decided it really wasn't me. So I went back to school. I decided to go the PT route. So I had to take a year's worth of prerequisites because, a lot of the things I took in ag were helpful, but there's some things I was just lacking. So I did the year off for a prereqs, and then I went to University of Iowa and got my PT degree there. So it was about a 4 or 5 year process from when I first thought about it to when I actually got the degree.
Which I find that really interesting, though, because oftentimes, especially students, have this idea that you graduate high school, you choose your major, and that's the only path to get to that degree. That you have to start with the major, you end with the major, or if you change majors, and you're starting over completely, and you're really not, because
it would have helped to have had some of the classes previously, because like some of the nomenclature, some of the wording I just didn't understand because I didn't study that. But I got through the prereqs, and maybe I was a little bit behind the others who had taken biology or whatever, exercise phys in college, but I caught up and it worked out fine.
But that's a viable path.
Oh,
is
sure.
the thing that I really appreciate, because again, students. I've talked to so many students that if they change, or they feel like they need to change, they feel almost like the world is crumbling. That I've made all the wrong decisions. I'm never going to get you can get there on a different path, and you both ended up doing your work in the same health center with very different paths to get here, and both are viable and both are absolutely wonderful. But it's just I like highlighting that there's a lot of different ways to get to where you're trying to go to. It's very rarely a linear line. It's often you bounce around here, there, and even Michelle, even though yours was pretty linear from you wanted to be an AT, you became an AT. The way you got here, the places you went, that's you went to different schools in order to get different levels of the education you needed. You worked at different places, or you were involved in different places in the state and out of state, and then you ended up at McKinley as your job, and then you've been here. And so I like the diversity in both of your experiences in that. But speaking about being various places as you were training and things like that, if you would share a little bit more, you said there's a lot of job settings outside of, and you can kind of find what's right for you. What are some examples of some of the different positions that can be found, or places that you can do ATPT work, as opposed to just in a medical center, primary care kind of facility?
Mm-hmm. When I was going through school, I initially thought that I wanted to be a head athletic trainer or assistant athletic trainer at a Division I university, and that was kind of my goal path. And I seeked that out as I was going through undergrad and even graduate school. When I was a graduate assistant athletic trainer, that was kind of my path in life. But after going through grad school and just the number of hours putting in as an athletic trainer, working with the sports teams and traveling all the time, I kind of got to the point where I just wanted a 40-hour work week, and seeked out other settings from there. So that's how I came across McKinley. It was the perfect fit for me, just an in-office setting, regular work hours during the week, and that was kind of more my style. But athletic trainers can work with recreational sports, hospital settings, fitness centers, even occupational settings. They work with military, performing arts, professional sports. I mean, a wide variety of settings out there.
Well, and one of the most I consider one of the most common ways for me to come across an AT is like high school settings.
Yes.
Helping, I won't say moonlighting, but helping as the trainer for a sports team, which in my experience I was very grateful for, because my daughter did get injured in high school. But those trainers often have other jobs, but then they do the side work with the high schools. And that's another place that you can really be involved in that way. If you don't want to do it full time that way, you can also get that little bit of an itch of working with a sports team that way.
Yep.
Rex, what about you? What are some areas other places that physical therapists can be found?
Yeah, besides the outpatient clinics that you drive by and see PT, also hospitals, the work the floors, the acute floors, the rehabilitation settings, like people have had surgeries and they need to get functional so they can go home. Another big area is in the hospitals with working with neurological problems, or people have had incidents involving that. And it can be more of the acute setting, then they go out to acute or more of the skilled nursing facility type, where it's a little bit longer time frame. Their PTs work in school systems. They do home health, workers' comp situations. Some PTs work with pediatrics and pediatric units. So yeah, there's a wide variety of things that we can do.
I do want to ask one question of Michelle, and this is kind of a specific one to ATs because people might have this concept. Athletic trainer. Do I have to be athletic to be an athletic trainer? Do I have to have played sports to have been a part of this?
Oh, no, not at all. We follow more of the medical model, so we don't have to be in shape or...
Well, and then that's one of the things. You hear athletic training, you think sports, you think athletic. Oh, I can't do that because I didn't play sports or whatever.
Right.
I'm not. That really is just.
No, does not pertain.
It does not.
And let me interject something. You don't have to be physical to be a physical therapist either.
So both of you talked about the education a little bit, but a specific question: what level do you have to have minimum? I know you can always go into the doctorate of pretty much anything you study, but a minimum level of education in order to do your positions. Do you need a master's, or is an undergrad enough to get you where you need to go?
At least with athletic training, a master's degree is not required. I just took the master's route to open up more opportunities for myself, but as long as you get an athletic training degree at an accredited university, that's the basic.
For a physical therapist, you need to have a bachelor's in something, like me, agricultural economics, but usually most people are some kind of science related. And all the schools, it's been several years now, but all have transitioned to what's called a Doctor of Physical Therapy program. It's pretty much a 3-year program. That's not all classes. A lot of that is on-site training and hands-on experience. So I believe every course or every school now is you graduate with a DPT degree.
So there's a lot of options as far as where to go and how to get to where you need to get to. And again, the levels of education you need just kind of depends on what you're looking for as for what doors you want to open. But you can start off at a fairly quick pace to get into the career. There's not a ton of schooling that you have to go through. Okay, so we've talked about what you do here. We've talked about the education piece as far as your positions. Now comes my favorite part of the series, actually. I love the opportunity to talk to the people that we have here at McKinley to share who you are outside of your positions in the building. You're both fantastic at what you do here in the building, but you're also really interesting people outside of. You have interests in things that you do that I always find fascinating. So I'd love to have a little bit of conversation on that just to kind of help you connect with our listeners. And if there's somebody who's listening as a student here and is thinking about, hey, I might want to go see them, it helps. You're not just the medical professional. You are also somebody they can just chat with and relate to on that level. So would you share just a little bit about yourselves outside of McKinley? You can talk about whatever you like, but I definitely want to get into the things you do for fun and your hobbies outside of it, because I know what you both do. So anyway, whoever wants to go first,
All right.
share a little bit about yourselves.
Apparently I'm starting this off again. So, my main priority, I am a mother of an active 7-year-old who loves any sport that involves a ball. So he's involved in so many things. So busy with my 7-year-old, and to wind down and to focus on a hobby, I do a lot of crafting, and that can range anywhere from working on furniture to drawing and painting. But my main hobby is folding books, if anybody is familiar, just making different designs as I fold pages of books.
And she's very good.
Which is interesting.
So explain just real quick, because folding books, like you fold the pages and then it's like a display, or is it like a diorama kind of thing, or what are you talking from that?
It's a display. So I fold each individual page, and once it's complete, it makes a design or a word, a name, monogram, logo, things like that. Once you close the book, you can see the design. So
that's just fascinating to me. It's just amazing. All right, Rex, you're up.
Way back when I met my wife, who came from Taiwan, she's here studying, and we met salsa dancing. So I guess I danced well enough for her to be interested in me. So we ended up getting married, and I have moved on from salsa dancing, but she is still doing that and loves that. But we have 2 kids. I have a daughter who will be a junior in Central. She's into volleyball and has done some track. And I have a son who'll be a freshman in Central, and he's definitely into baseball and also done some track and also done hockey. So my daughter's lifeguarding at the Y, so finally all those swim lessons are paying off. And also a big St. Louis Cardinals baseball fan. But I used to do a lot of photography when I used to be a traveling physical therapist and seeing all the parts of the country. I did a lot of landscape photography. Came here, got married, started to do more people kind of stuff and a few wedding photography, but then the pandemic hit, so I stopped doing that. And I just have picked up a wood carving hobby since then. And in the evening, I sit, watch TV, and carve something and try not to cut myself. So I do caricatures, ornaments, and things like that.
And my favorite thing about the both of you doing that, because you're both very crafty. I am not at all. That's not my skill set whatsoever. One, I don't have the patience for whatever either one that you both do. But you both downplay it so much, like, oh, I just fold books. Oh, I just carve one. You're both fantastic. I mean, just really talented in it. So I'm going to shout you out for a moment, because if you go to craft fairs in the area, you might catch either one of them at a table. Check it out, because they both make just outstanding items, really interesting designs and interesting products they make. But yeah, I love seeing both the books and the woodworking you both do, because I'm just fascinated by it on that side. So, but it's one of those things that if somebody came in and they saw you as ATPT, they'd have no idea that this is something that you have a skill set in, and that's something that I like to highlight through this series, that you are fully well-rounded people, not the singular dimension of medical provider. But before we close, I do want to come back to the medical provider side, and there's one thing I want to ask, because it's important somebody's listening. If somebody wanted to come see either one of you for an issue, or wanted to come in and had an injury or something like that, what's the process for them here at McKinley for them to come and see either one of you?
They would first have to see their primary care provider, who would then refer them to Rexdry, depending on the nature of their injury. And then it's a limited amount of appointments that we can see, just because there are 2 of us and, like you said, 50,000 plus students on campus. So we can see somebody generally 4 times per semester. And we like to space out the appointments, give them some exercises that they can do on their own at home, hopefully before they meet us again. And one thing that I wanted to mention is that we don't see the intercollegiate athletes. They have their own athletic trainers that work specifically with their sports teams. So we just see the rest of the student population.
And weekend warriors too.
Yeah.
Yes, weekend warriors. But
it's really if you're a student on campus, it's a simple process to get to connect with them. Simply have to see a primary care provider, make an appointment with that, and then they will take the rest from there and give that referral. And usually it's not too long to get. It just depends on the busyness of the semester at that point. But I know you both work really hard and work really hard to keep spaces open and see everybody as best you can in a timely manner. So again, if you have any questions on that, you can always contact McKinley. We'd be happy to talk to you about it and get you set up on that. Well, guys, I really appreciate you taking that time today and coming and chatting with me and just sharing a little bit of what you do and who you are. And I just want to say thanks again for coming on the program.
Well, thanks for having us.
Hopefully you don't have to come visit us, but if you do, we're here.
There are a lot of different aspects that McKinley serves students here, and there's a lot of different aspects of the medical field and careers that you can go into. And today we just want to talk about 2 of them in athletic training and physical therapy. If you have any questions on any of this, please feel free to contact us here at McKinley. You can contact us here at Healthy Illini, and we'd be happy to talk it through with you. If you have questions, if you have comments, not necessarily just you need to make an appointment, but you just want to know more about the career or about what they do, please reach out. We'd love to share with you. We're here to educate. We're here to walk alongside and wherever you are. And so feel free to reach out. We'd love to have that conversation. But thank you for joining us today. You're on a personal journey no matter where you are in it. You are important and you matter. Your health and wellness are important and matter, and we're here to keep you well to excel. So go have a great week, Illini. Let us know how you're doing, and we'll catch you next time on Healthy Illini. This week on Healthy Illini, we're talking about athletic training and physical therapy, and I'm joined by Rex and Michelle. And guys, what's one thing you would want listeners to take away from this episode?
If you're having pain or having trouble functioning somehow, come see the doctor so that you can come see us.
We're here for you. Stay healthy, Illini.
Perfect. All right, I'm going to pull my chair around, and then we'll do a picture. Because Becky took all my chairs out so she can paint.
All right, I'll take a couple. Okay, all good?
Cool. Perfect.
Thank you.
No problem.
I have no idea when this is going to air. It may air this summer. It may air in the fall.
You still trying to do one a week?
Not in the summer.
Okay.
But we had one that I was trying to do that they had to cancel. And so I'm trying to figure out filler right now. So this may,
we're filler.
Yeah,
I
basically.
see.
You're my back
I
pocket.
get it.
You're my back pocket.
Well, we're filler this time because I couldn't make it the last
Right.
time.
Oh, that's true.
But anyway, so I don't know exactly when it'll air, but I'll let you know when we go. I got to talk to Jen today to find out. We wanted to do Illini service dogs and pause, whatever it is. Anyway, but they don't have any students on campus in the summer, and so they're like, we can do it in the fall. We'll have more people back. Okay, so we originally wanted to do it. I originally wanted to do it before the semester ended, so that I could air it in the summer. And then they had to cancel because of personal conflicts and things like that. And so anyway, so that's where kind of we're at on that. But yeah, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, my
And
pleasure.
if you
Every 3 years, not too bad.
Glad it's over.
as I tell everybody, and I'm sure you'll both be so willing to be forthcoming with this, if you see stuff come through that is like, man, we haven't seen this before, it's kind of like, we're seeing a lot of this, and you want to think it's worth talking about, let me know. We can absolutely put an episode together and throw that in.
Oh, like injury-wise? You're